Ooh, what a good follow-up question. So no, you can actually think yourself into maturity as well. Now, in order to be able to think well enough, as a general rule, you need to sharpen your brain over time. It's going to be directly related to how I answered this question before about men maturing. I said that men mature through pain, strain, struggle, strife, and trauma, which is true. Your brain, in order to develop to higher levels, needs to be exposed to and go through really hard shit as well. Now, some people are able to develop the ability to look at something, question it, and then work out the answers themselves. So it's not always going to be, an education is not always going to be required. There's probably quite a few people that never even learned to read that have the ability to do this. But as a general rule, it's going to require usually reading and some sort of education. Does not need to be higher education as like college or anything like that. I am myself. I'm an autodidact. I'm self-taught on everything that I know. In order to be able to think on higher levels, though, as a general rule, you're going to need to sharpen your brain amongst a plethora of different subjects, even if they're not related. Now, if, for instance, if you end up being a philosopher, but you taught yourself a lot of math, right? A lot of people would be like, well, the math was a waste of time and this and this and this. That's not true. Because when you taught yourself math, these higher levels of math, a lot of frustration was involved, a lot of problem solving, legit, like literal problem solving is involved. All these different things are involved, right? So you have to use that ability to logic, reason, and problem solve in order to become a philosopher. Same thing if you taught yourself to draw. Now, I've done all three of these things, so this is how I know. You want to teach yourself to draw? There's a lot of fucking problem solving involved in drawing. Anybody who's learned to draw or taught themselves how to draw will tell you there's a lot of frustration, a lot of problem solving involved. So all three of those things involve problem solving, learning to get past frustration and stuff like that. In order for your brain to develop to higher levels, it's usually going to have to go through some really, really, really hard shit. But once you get it to a certain point, you can start reasoning through things fairly well. And I believe that you can, I don't even believe, I'm 100% certain that you can think yourself into anything. You can think yourself into being a mature man. Many, many, many men have done it. But you can also, if you guys ever notice, you guys can look into a lot of people that have created really high levels of success. A lot of them will plain and simply say that they tricked themselves into believing it. They brainwashed themselves. They use all these different terminology to say basically that they thought their way into it. 50 Cent, I believe the way he said it was something like, I said it so much that I fucked around and started to believe myself. Right? So you can think your way in anything. You can think, a lot of people think themselves into being poor their whole lives, but a lot of people think themselves into being rich as well. Wealth is a thinking man's game. I promise you, it's a thinking man's game. Not only because you have to be able to reason things and stuff like that, but you have to create solutions to problems that other people don't have, haven't created. Or sometimes, if you're extremely fucking intelligent, you can create the fucking problem and then create the solution. Wealth is a thinking man's game. You're never gonna just work your way into being wealthy. Working hard is important. Every person who's wealthy, I promise you, they worked very, very, very diligently, very, 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 very hard, unless they inherited it. Any person who's made themselves wealthy has worked very, very, very hard. But you're never just going to work your way into wealth. You're never going to save your way into wealth. None of those things apply that they try to teach you. That shit's not real. But you can think your way into anything. So you can think your way into being a mature man, for sure. You can do that. You can think your way into being poor your whole life, struggling your whole life. Or you can think your way into being a strong man, a good man, a better man, and a wealthy man. You can think your way into anything.